The forgotten story of in the Bible. Deborah, the leader and strategic advisor. Have you ever felt like you were meant for more? That there's a leader inside you, just waiting for the right moment to step up? If you've ever been told that leadership isn't for you, I want to share a story that will change your perspective. It's the story of one of the most powerful women in the Bible, Deborah. Now, when we think of ancient Israel, we often picture a world led by men, kings, priests, and prophets. But right in the heart of that history, we find Deborah. The Bible introduces her in the book of Judges, and it gives her some incredible titles. She wasn't just a wife or a mother. She was a prophetess and the only female judge of Israel. Think about that for a second. In a time when men held nearly all positions of power, Deborah was the highest authority in the land. So, what did a judge do? Well, people from all over Israel would travel to see her. The scripture says she would sit under a specific palm tree, which became known as the Palm of Deborah, and she would settle their legal disputes. She was like the Supreme Court, the ultimate voice of wisdom and justice for the entire nation. She wasn't just offering friendly advice, she was delivering God's judgment and shaping the laws of her society. Her wisdom was so respected that her word was final. Imagine the integrity, the insight, and the spiritual connection she must have had to carry that kind of responsibility. She wasn't just a leader, she was a leader appointed by God. But Deborah's role didn't stop in the courtroom. This is where her story gets even more incredible. At the time, Israel was suffering under the harsh rule of a Canaanite king named Jabin. For 20 long years, they were oppressed, and they cried out to God for a deliverer. And who did God call? Not a mighty warrior, not a prince, but Deborah. She received a message from God and summoned the Israelite army's general, a man named Barak. She didn't suggest or recommend, she commanded him. She said, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you. Go, take with you 10,000 men, and I will lead Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops, to the Kishon River, and give him into your hands." This is a pivotal moment. Here is a woman, acting as God's spokesperson, giving direct military orders to the top general. She was a political leader, a spiritual guide, and now, a military strategist. But Barak hesitated. He was intimidated by the enemy's iron chariots and superior numbers. He told Deborah, "If you go with me, I will go. But if you don't go with me, I won't go." His confidence wasn't in his army or his own strength, it was in her presence. He knew that God's favor was with her, and he wasn't willing to face the enemy without her by his side. Did Deborah back down? Absolutely not. She agreed to go, proving her courage was as great as her wisdom. She went with him to the battlefield, not as a bystander, but as the commanding presence that inspired an entire army. Her leadership was the catalyst for Israel's victory and freedom. She didn't just talk about faith. She lived it out on the front lines. So, what does Deborah's story mean for us today? It's a powerful reminder that leadership, wisdom, and authority are not tied to gender. Deborah shatters every stereotype. She was a judge, a prophet, and a military commander. She excelled in high-stakes governance and strategic decision-making, areas that many in her time and even some today would reserve for men. Her story shows us that God calls and equips leaders based on their character, their wisdom, and their willingness to obey, not on their gender. Think about the world around us. We see women today leading countries, running major corporations, and making groundbreaking discoveries. Like Deborah, they are sitting in seats of judgment, leading in politics, and making critical decisions that shape our world. They are modern-day Deborahs, proving that a woman's place is wherever God calls her to be, whether it's in the boardroom, the courtroom, the classroom, or at home. The spirit of Deborah, that blend of wisdom, courage, and faith is alive and well. Her story is not just a piece of ancient history, it's an invitation. It's an invitation for every person, man or woman, to recognize the gifts God has given them and to step into their calling with boldness. If you have a gift for leadership, for wisdom, for justice, don't let anyone tell you that you can't use it. Look to Deborah. She wasn't just a woman in a man's world. She was a leader in God's world, and her legacy continues to inspire us to this day. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of the incredible people in the Bible. And share in the comments below, who is a strong woman of faith that inspires you? I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.